What is going on, guys? It's Wrestlelamia here, back with some more news. Join us now as we look at the March 9th edition of AEW Dynamite, plus the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including real reason why AEW signed Jeff Hardy, WWE forced Superstar to change their look, WWE legend to AEW, plus much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. As always, we won't recap the matches, we will just look at the good, the bad, and the downright ugly. As always, we start with the good. Chris Jericho turns heel. Last night's edition of Dynamite kicked off with Chris Jericho cutting a promo in the ring. He would then proceed to call out Eddie Kingston and attempted to shake his hand as an apology for his failure to show respect towards Kingston following their match at the Revolution pay-per-view. As Kingston shook his hand, Danny Garcia and 2.0 came to the ring to ambush both men before Santana and Ortiz made the save. Jericho would then turn heel by attacking Kingston, Santana, and Ortiz with a baseball bat. Jake Hager would later join in the attack, and it looks like Jericho has now formed a heel stable known as the Jericho Appreciation Society. Jericho as a heel is a much better fit for AEW, and it'll be interesting to see what direction AEW takes with this new stable. William Regal's promo work. William Regal made his Dynamite debut last night, accompanying Bryan Danielson and Jon Moxley to the ring for their squash tag team match. Once the match was over, Regal got on the mic and cut a passionate promo, informing the AEW locker room that they'd better step up or they'll be stepped on. It was refreshing to see Regal talk without the WWE restrictions in place, and the partnership with Danielson and Moxley has a ton of potential, and hopefully AEW delivers with this storyline. Jeff Hardy debuts. At long last, Jeff Hardy is all elite. During last night's show, all of Matt Hardy's associates turned on him in a 6-on-1 beatdown. Sting and Darby Allin eventually made the save, but they were still outnumbered. This was when the legendary Jeff Hardy made his AEW debut, making the save to the delight of the audience. It looks like Jeff and Matt are going to reform the Hardy Boys for one final run, which opens the door for a number of high-profile dream matches for AEW. The bad. Random world title match. Adam Page defended his AEW World title in a match against Dante Martin on the show, and this came as a surprise as there'd been zero build to this match taking place. It wasn't presented as a big deal on TV, and the only reason it was happening was because Martin had an impressive win-loss record in 2022. AEW need to make sure the world title matches are a big deal, and if they're being presented on TV, they need to have an appropriate build. Keith Lee's lack of direction. AEW fans expected Keith Lee to win the Face of the Revolution ladder match at the Revolution pay-per-view, but that victory went to Wardlow. Lee appeared in a backstage segment with QT Marshall, and it looks like AEW are going to put the feud between Lee and Team Taz on hold to begin a feud with Lee and QT. This feud seems above Lee, and there is some concern that Lee has already been lost in the shuffle. Overbooked main event. The main event of the show saw Sammy Guevara defend the TNT title against Scorpio Sky. The finish of the match came when Guevara was distracted by Paige Van Zandt attacking Ty Conti at ringside. Sky then capitalized to win the TNT title. The finish was rather overbooked, and it looks like Scorpio is going to be a transitional champion. Although it's great that Sky has finally won singles gold in AEW, fans are fully expecting Sky to drop the title to Wardlow when the two face off on Dynamite next week. The ugly. Nothing on last night's show stands out as being ugly. It was a decent show with a number of new and exciting stories being developed. It's an exciting time to be a fan of AEW, and hopefully AEW continues on this trend of positive momentum. And now, let's move on to the news. Real reason why Jeff Hardy signed with AEW. Our top story today takes a closer look at Jeff Hardy's AEW debut. Jeff's AEW debut was a long time coming, and it shouldn't have come as a major surprise that Jeff joined Tony Khan's promotion. When Jeff was released from WWE, Khan didn't shy away from the fact that there would be interest in having Jeff sign with AEW, and this was supported by others in AEW, including Jeff's own brother Matt. Jeff's AEW debut ultimately came down to a question of when rather than if. Jeff's 90-day no-compete clause was officially up yesterday, and AEW couldn't wait to debut the charismatic Enigma, so they did it at the moment they were legally allowed to. The details of Jeff's AEW deal are unclear at this time, but he is expected to be a part of the tag division with his brother Matt before hopefully having a run in the main event scene. What do you make of Jeff's AEW signing? Let us know in the comments below. Reason why AEW were able to use Jeff Hardy's WWE theme. Fans were rather taken aback when Jeff Hardy came out to his WWE theme song last night. It turns out that WWE no longer owned the rights to the theme song, and it is now owned exclusively by AEW. An exclusive report from Fightful Select revealed, as seen on tonight's Dynamite, Jeff Hardy did use Loaded. Not only did AEW quickly gain the rights to use that theme when they found out Hardy was coming in, but they licensed the entire library that it was a part of. So technically, AEW could use Hardcore and Crash Holly's theme. WWE made WWE Superstar change their look. Elias hasn't been seen on WWE TV since the summer of 2021, where it looked like Elias was putting an end to his established gimmick and character. According to former head writer for WWE Vince Russo, he was told that WWE made Elias dramatically change his look. Russo would claim that WWE had Elias cut all of his hair off, but then they decided that they weren't going to use him on TV. Why WWE are refusing to use the talented Elias has never been reported, but it's likely that the WWE creative team are trying to come up with something, well, creative for him to do on WWE programming. WWE legend to join AEW? FTR have made no secret of their admiration for wrestling legend Bret Hart, and after last night, there are rumors that Hart could be on his way to AEW. During last night's edition of AEW Dynamite, the former AEW Tag Team Champions would fire their manager Tully Blanchard, opening the door for a brand new manager to take his place. Following last night's show, FTR member Dax Harwood took to Twitter to tweet, "Bret, what are you up to?" Hart joining AEW to become FTR's manager would be an exciting prospect. Hart has a history with AEW, and he was actually the one who unveiled the AEW World title at the Double or Nothing pay-per-view back in 2019. Do you think Hart would be a good fit for AEW? Let us know in the comments below. WrestleMania plans for Seth Rollins revealed? Our final story today takes a look at the creative plans at WrestleMania for Seth Rollins. According to Dave Meltzer from the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Rollins' opponent is rumored to be Cody Rhodes. It is believed that the return storyline and match WWE have pitched for Rhodes is to see him take on Rollins in a featured match at WrestleMania. That would be a great return match for Rhodes and will no doubt be a strong contender to steal the show. Meltzer didn't comment on the backup plans for Rollins if Rhodes decides to not return in time for WrestleMania. Rollins' tag team partner Kevin Owens already has a role at WrestleMania, hosting the KO show with Stone Cold Steve Austin, and this could put Rollins' WrestleMania plans in a state of flux. Who would you like to see Rollins face at WrestleMania next month? Let us know in the comments below. There you have it, folks, the wildest wrestling news, stories, and rumors you need to know. Don't forget to leave your comments down below, and I'll see you next time, back for some more wrestling content.